Hey guys, this is Naveen here. Welcome back to Naveen Automation Labs and back to our K6 performance load testing series. So far we have seen two things, that how to install K6 on Mac machine and how to install K6 on Windows. And we have seen the basic first script, that how to set up, how to install K6 performance testing tool. Now we have to configure a project where we can write the code properly, and then we can create our own script with respect to performance testing for our APIs. And we really need to get an example also. So how to do that? Because every time I cannot write my code in a simple plain, let's say Notepad or Sublime or Notepad ++, right? It's because we really need some auto suggestions, and we really need to write the code. We really need to see that different methods and everything, and how to configure different other configuration in the K6. We really need to see that. So how to do that? So we really need, because K6 using JavaScript internally to write the code, right? So what exactly we have to do? We have to create a project, and then we have to use, let's see, some example APIs. For example, let's say this is a post call, and then I really want to hit this post call. And authentication point of view, I'm just passing this username, password. I'm getting the response here like this, and I really want to perform some performance testing for this API. It could be a get call also, it could be a normal post call, put and delete, patch, options, anything. So we will see various types of calls in upcoming chapters, but let's see how to execute a simple get call or maybe a post call, how to write a script for that, how to pass this JSON payload with K6 JavaScript script, how to use that, right? So what exactly I'm going to do that, I'm going to, I'll go to my documents. In your case, if you are using Windows or Mac, you can go to your documents or C drive or D drive or anywhere and create a simple folder. So let's create a new folder here, and let's see my folder name that I'm going to create. This is a K6, let's see, K6 script. Okay, so this is the script got created, and under that particular K6 script, what exactly I'm going to do that, I'm just going to see, I don't have any right now, nothing, it's a blank folder. So I'm going to import this folder or open this folder with my Visual Studio Code. So make sure that you have the Visual Studio Code available in your system, so that we will write the code inside the editor, and then we will try to execute from the terminal within the Visual Studio Code, or we can use a new terminal as well. So what I have to do, I have to just go to file and then open, and let's open that folder that we created actually. So documents, and I'll do one thing, I just simply go to K6 script folder that you have created, and then open that. Right now it's a blank folder. So here you can see that it's in this folder, we don't have anything. It's a purely blank folder. What I'm going to do that, you just open this blue strip from here and go to terminal. So we have to initialize this project with the npm. Make sure that npm and node is available on your system, that we have already discussed in the in the previous session. So what exactly I'm going to do that, I'm going to initialize with npm init command. Okay, so it will create one package.json and everything. So package name, I'm not giving anything, let it be same thing, version, let it be that, and I'm writing this is K6 scripts examples we are going to talk about it. Entry point, fine. Test command, nothing right now. Get repository, we will use it later. Keyword, no keywords right now. Author, I'm writing, let's see, Naveen Automation Labs. Enter, license, nothing. Is this okay? Yes. So it will ask all these information. Let me click this get started window, and then click on this package.json. So this is package.json, just like we do it in Maven project. We have pom.xml file where we have to add all the dependencies and everything. So here you can see that, yeah, dependencies, you can add it later. And this is a K6 package.json got created. Fine. Now I'll do one thing, under this K6 folder, I'm going to create another folder where we have to write the code. So for example, my code is, let's see, my specs. I'm going to create a folder, and under this particular folder, we are going to create a new file here. So I'll do one thing, let's create a new file, and let's see, this is my get api.js. Okay, and here we have to write our first script. So how will you write a get API? See, couple of things that you have to understand here is that, let me just increase the font size. Okay, so the first thing is you have to import two important things. The first import that you have to do it, let's write import. HTTP from K6 library. So we have to write in single quote, and then we have to write this is my K6 and // HTTP that you have to write, and then semicolon, so that we will get HTTP module to call different put call, get call, post call, and all such things. And then the next import that we have to do, sorry, K6 HTTP here, and the next import that we have to do, let's write import. And then if you really want to add any sleep or something, then you can just write like this and then sleep. So we will see various types of other imports also from where, from K6. So let's go to K6 module and then add it here. And one important thing that you have to write, that you have to write your load testing code under this particular function. So the default function you have to use it. So simple export this default function with this keyword default, and then simple write function over here. This is a function symbol, starting bracket and ending bracket. And then with the help of this HTTP, you simple write, let's see, HTTP, see this dot, and then you will see various options. So you will see first method is get method. You can see that, and you can see the description. You can pass a parameter as a URL or request parameter, and it will return the response here. And this is a example, that is what they have given, that http k6.io. You can use this example. So let's copy this get call, and let's use it over here. So just put a double parenthesis and the single quote, you have to write it here like that. Perfect. And this is a script that you have written. After that, if you really want to give a sleep for 1 second, so you can just give a sleep, and the duration in seconds you can give that, and sleep is coming from K6 module here. And then you just need to put whatever the number of seconds. Let's say I just put a 1 second of wait, and that's it. So this is the simple script that we have written. Perfect. And after that, you simple save it, Control S. How will you run it? See, you can run directly from here also. So let me clear the console, and then you can go to your actual command prompt or terminal also. You can do that. So you can execute this particular script. So if you go to pwd and you see that, okay, case is a script, but my script is actually available under specs folder. So we have to go to the specs folder. So let's go to specs folder. And how will you run it? Simple command K6 run which script that you want to run. I simple write get api.js, and then you will see that the execution got started here, and then it will give you a nice report on the terminal. We will see the various options of this particular report later on. You can see that the request receiving, this is the most important parameter in the report which we are getting, that average time for the complete receiving. Receiving means, the request receiving means when you send the request to the server, and then server will process that particular request and it will give back the response. So how much time that you actually took for the entire circle, sending the request to the server, and server is giving back to the response, giving back to the client, then it took around average time is this. And by default we are using only one virtual user here. Perfect. So this is a time. So simple script, that is what we have written. Now there are a couple of other options also we can use it here. If you really want to use some, let's see, some options, I don't want to pass some parameter from the command line, you can pass it some options from here as well. So how to use this? Now see this carefully. Once again, that I'm going to write export, and then I'm going to create some constants over here. Some options you can create with options is equal to, and then your starting bracket and ending bracket here you can write it. If you really want to define that, okay, I want some virtual users, so you can define the virtual users like this. How many virtual users that you want? Virtual user means number of threads that you really want to use to execute this script. So let's say I'm saying 10 threads that I want to use, put a comma, and then the duration, the total duration for the entire iteration, it should take, let's say 30 seconds. So 30 seconds is a string. So I'm writing 30 with S. So it's a string. So you have to write 30 S over here. S means second, and then put a comma, right? So if you have tomorrow any other operation options, you can define it over here instead of passing it from the script. Now, if you run this, let's see, is it really working or not? So let me just clear the console and run the same script, K6 run get api.js. So you can see K6 got started, and you can just see the script here, because obviously the request time, now sending and the receiving time is what got increased. You can see that the receiving time is around 118 milliseconds now. that is the average time or minimum or medium time. And here if you really want to see that it took around 1 iterations and 1 virtual user per user that is it is using, and the total request timeout that is around that is exactly 30 seconds. That is what we have used here. Okay, so it's saying 1 iteration for each of 1 virtual user, and 30 seconds is actually took. So you can just define the configuration over here. The number of if you say that, okay, yeah, that all these virtual users should take around 60 seconds or 30 seconds or 1 minute, that you can define it over here. Okay, so that's a simple basic script that we have written. So with the get call, it's not a problem, because with the get call you are getting the things and then hitting the APIs and then running it. But in post call we have to pass the JSON payload and everything. How will you do that? So let's take an example with the post call. So let's do one thing. This is my post call where I have to, let's see, do a login, and we have to pass some headers also, like see content type is equal to application JSON. In the JSON body we have to pass the username, password, and then when we send this particular request, it's a post call, and we are getting this ID and then some token also we are getting it. So I really want to verify that are we getting the status code 200. So I really want to write some assertions also, that whatever the response code is correct or not, or my response body is having, let's see, this username, something like this or not. So can we do such things with this? Yes, of course we can do that as well. So let's write that script as well. So I'll do one thing. Under specs folder I'm going to create one more file, and this time I'm writing, let's see, post API.js. okay, and then what exactly we have to write here? So this is same thing again. These are the 2 imports that you can write, and along with this options also we can take it. So let's copy this and then first of all paste it over here, right? And then again we have to use this export default function where you have to write the script, calling the script and getting the response. So just simple copy this and then you paste it over here after this, right? So it's totally optional. It's not mandatory to write options. If you really want to pass from the command line, also we can pass it. So I'll show you with the command line also. Okay, now let's see how to write the post call with that. So for post call, first of all, that let me remove this code, and then I'm writing, this is my http.post method that I'm going to use, and it's saying that with the post the URL parameter you have to pass. So let's pass the URL parameter. So what is the URL parameter? The URL parameter, the URL is exactly that you are using. This is my, so just URL, copy this, it's a post call, and then paste it over here. Simple. And then you put a semicolon. And then I'll do one thing, that I can do one more thing here, that I can define one, let's see, a constant URL first, which is equal to, let's write in this way, this one, right? And what I can do, instead of writing, we will write this thing in some time, and then what else we need to create a request? I need a payload also. So I'll say, okay, fine, this is your JSON payload. So I'm writing one payload is equal to what? Now the payload should be in the form of JSON. So we have an existing library that you can use with JSON dot, one method is there, a string5 method is there. With the string5 method, what you can do here is you can just pass your JSON payload here. What is the payload? See, the payload is this username, this, and then password is this. So what we have to do here you have to write, simple write username colon, and what is the username, that is what you are using, again comma, and then what is the password that you are going to use. So I'm going to write password colon, and whatever the password that you really want to use, that fine. So let's see, I'll just going to copy, this is my username, and this is the password. This is a sample API that I found it online. You can use, it's totally free, and copy the password also. So let's see, I'm just going to paste the password as well. Okay, so this is a script for constant URL and the payload, that is what we have created. Now, do you have any parameters like header or something that you really want to pass, header parameters? Yes, we have that. So I'm going to create one. Let's see, params also. Params is equal to, here again I'm writing that I'm going to use some headers over here like this. So see, h is small, headers colon, and then again the starting bracket and ending bracket, and what type of header that you really want to pass. I'm going to pass as a content type. So I'm going to write, see this content type here. So C capital actually, content and then type. And then what is the value of this content type? The value of this content type is application JSON. So I'm going to write, this is my application / JSON. Okay. So this is the one script that we have written. Other than that, if you have tomorrow more headers, let's see, content type or any other authentication token or any other session ID or token that you really want to pass in the header section, you can pass it over here. We will see those examples later on. Okay. So this is the second script, the second constant parameter, third constant parameter we have created. So we have three constant: URL, payload, and then params. Perfect. Now what we have to do, instead of writing this hard-coded value here directly, remove this line. Now I'm going to hit this API with the post call. How will you hit it? So I simply write HTTP, once again, I'm going to write post. And then it's saying you can pass the URL, body, and the third parameter is params or request parameters. You can pass it and then it will return the resulting response. So I'll just put a bracket here. What is the first thing? The first thing is that the URL that we have already created. So this is the URL that you can use. Then again, put a comma. The second parameter of the function is that you can pass the payload. So let's use this payload and then put a comma. And what is the next thing? The third thing is the params. You can use it over here. Let's put some space here, right? And then semicolon. So what exactly this post method will do? The post method will return the resulting response. So whatever the response that we are getting, I'm going to store in another variable. Let's see the response variable that I'm going to store here. So the entire response, I'll be getting it here. Perfect. Now, how to write an assertion that you are getting HTTP status code is 200 or not? So let's see, this is status code is 200 with this particular post call. Okay. And this is the JSON body, response body that we are getting. So what exactly I'm going to do that? We have to use one check feature here to write the assertion. So how to write check? So for that we have to import that particular check. So how to use this? So I'll simple coming here, just write import, just like we imported sleep. You put these two curly bracket and then you write check. This is coming from where? Again, it's coming from K6. So I'm writing coming from K6 module. So simple write K6. So K6 is having this check object, where this check object can be used for the assertion. So how to write it? So I simple, let's see, come over here and then I'm going to write a check. How to write it? See, it's very simple and very straightforward. Just like an assertion we write, I'll write check. Let's see, I really want to write multiple checks. So I'll just create one check and then let's create a response variable over here from this particular response and starting bracket and ending bracket here. Perfect. So how will you check that? So you can just simply write in double quote, a plain English you can write at what exactly this assertion is all about. So I'm writing is status 200 or not. And then I'm checking and then you just use any variable, let's see R. So whatever the response that you are getting, it will be stored inside this R. And then with the help of lambda, we are going to use this particular R to get the status. So I'm using this status here. And then I'm checking if the status is equal to 200 or not, and then comma. Okay, what is the next assertion that you really want to write? So I'm checking that is response body has, let's see, some whatever the username that you are passing. I really want to check that, okay, in my response body, this username, this one is available or not. I really want to validate that. So how will you write it? Again, then you write colon, put a bracket here, passing R or any variable A, B, C, D. Let's say I'm using R means a response. So the same response will be given to this R. And then with this particular R, what exactly you want, I'm saying that pass it to with the help of arrow and then you write R dot body here. And this body dot, there is one method that includes method that you have to write. And what exactly to include? It means in my body, the JSON response body should have this particular username, and that's it. And put a comma here. Don't forget to add comma. And then when this is ready, then simple end over here. That's it. And this function is completely ready. My script is ready over here. So if you see this, again, I'll repeat, you can define some options here. You can see the constant options and then you can create a function. So the entire load script you have to write calling the APIs and then passing the parameter, creating the payload request and everything, checking the response and everything, you have to write under default function. This is already predefined in K6. Okay, so this script is ready. Now we have to execute it. But see one thing, this API having some limitations that you cannot execute back to back, because 10 virtual user for 30 seconds, it will start executing back to back for the entire 30 seconds, because this API is having some limitation. The total number of hits you can hit on this API having some limitation over here. So what I do, that I don't want to increase the load right now. So let's see, only one virtual user within 1 second, or let's see within 5 seconds you can execute that. Okay, and then I'm going to run it. So let's simple run it, k6 run post api.js, and see it starting. And then oops, let me just cancel this. Let me just save it. Actually, I did not save it. Okay, simple. First you have to save it and then execute the script once again. So let me run it. See, this it got executed and it's saying around within 5 seconds it will hit the API, and let's see the result that we are getting. So this is the result that we are getting. But again, see this, it's saying the status code is for some of the APIs it's not coming. Let's see, around for 18 hits it's not coming the right API. So I'll do one thing, instead of 5 seconds I'll just simply use 1 second here, and because this is having some limitations, so let me just save it and then clear the console. Let's run it again. Okay, so I'm using virtual user 1 within 1 second. So within 1 second, yes, it got executed, and let's see how exactly the assertion is getting displayed. See, the assertion will be displayed with this green color. Status is 200 and the response body is correct, that whatever you were expecting, that the way we have written here. Perfect, like this. So likewise, you can just write multiple assertions. So obviously you have to check your validations as well with the help of a function testing point of view. And but here we are making sure that, okay, the functionality wise it is absolutely working fine, but what exactly this the load time and the response time, and then the receiving time, and the fail or the HTTP request or fail or receiving time or sending time, that is what we are getting. That matrix is very, very important to us. But right now we are just concentrating on then how to write the script. So likewise we are going to write the script. Now, for example, let's say I don't want to use this particular export from here. So I'm just going to comment it out. Let's comment it out from here. And then I'm going to run it once again. So let's run it once again. Let's clear it. Now let's say I really want to pass VUS and the duration from the command line. How to do that? So same thing, what you write. Simple write k6 run ---- VUS that you have to write. And let's say I really want only one virtual user. Once again, you write ---- duration. Okay, the same parameter, duration of what? Let's see, duration of 1 second that I'm going to write. And what is the script? The post api.js. So see, you can pass it from the command line also if you don't want to use it from the script. So here you can see once again the assertion got passed over here. So likewise also you can do that. So it's up to you. If you really want to use it from here, from the script side, that also you can also do that. And then if you really want to use it from the command line, that also you can do that. Right? So what we have seen, how to write a GET API and how to write a POST API. Later on, we will see more better examples for the POST API, PUT API and everything. And then how to hit the entire transaction with various combinations of load parameters. For example, let's see, total number of iterations I want 10 with 1,000 users or 2,000 users, or 10 iterations that I have to perform, or 20 iterations I have to perform, and then how to increase the time and then decrease the time with multiple concurrency users and everything. So various configuration we will see in upcoming chapters. So please try these GET APIs and the POST API. Get used to with that. Everything you have to write within the functions only, and within the options you have to write all the options. So that's all for this particular video, guys. I hope you liked it. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and God bless you all.